What's on, ladies and gentlemen? My name's Ross, I like games, and today I am here with some wonderful, wonderful news. You see, the lovely folks at Fantasy Flight Games, and I feel today we really can say lovely folks at Fantasy Flight Games, have gone and given us a free print and play Ronan the Accuser modular encounter set. How cool is that? Now, for those of you that may or may not be aware, modular encounter sets are basically 7-card sets which get put in with the villain. So usually there are exceptions like the Wrecking Crew. You'll have the villain's deck plus the standard cards plus 1 encounter set, and you can switch them in and out. Well, we've been given Ronan the Accuser. It is a full official set, proper artwork, all of that is here as a print and play set. I know there are issues with print and play, but honestly, right, if you're really worried, here's my advice. Just grab a random minion, random side scheme, etc. that you're not using from other cards in the game, and then just have a little piece of paper next to you going, oh, when I draw the minion, it's actually Ronan, and then you can have the cards next to you. If you don't want to print and play, literally just put in random cards that aren't in the game that you're playing at the moment, and then just have them representing the cards that you've got off to the side. And I tell you what, ladies and gentlemen, this Ronan the Accuser modular set, oh, it's pretty brutal. So starting off with Ronan, we've got Schemer free, Attacker free, both of which are pretty high. Bearing in mind, a lot of the time you'll see like 7 being enough to actually win the day, so that's harsh. And you know, we got heroes with health of 9. Schemer free, Attacker free is big. And then health of 9 per player. So what that means is, and if you've got a single player game, you've got a 9 health minion, which is really high, I should add. But if you've got 2 people, it's an 18 power or 18 health minion. And if you keep going, if you're playing a 4-player game, this is a 36 health minion. That, ladies and gentlemen, is absolutely over-the-top ridiculous. Remember how we all thought MODOK was high because it had 8? That's adorable. So anyway, the health is gigantic, the scheme is high, the attack is high. It comes into play, or he comes into play with a toughness counter and cannot be stunned. And there is a forced interrupt. When the villain phase begins, Ronan the Accuser engages a hero with the fewest remaining hit points. Now remember, engaged and activates are different. Engaged is where you are essentially sat up opposite ready to go, and activate is actually where you attack, etc. Minions engage with a player activate during step 2 of the villain phase after the villain activates. But what this basically means is Ronan is always going to be fighting the lowest hit point character. That's, yeah. Bearing in mind the attack is high and it's got toughness and he can't be stunned to stop him attacking, this is, I want to say, the harshest minion we've seen so far. I mean, maybe Loki, because Loki just keeps coming back. But, and you know, MODOK with the 8 health retaliate 2 is pretty harsh. But honestly, I feel fairly confident calling this the harshest minion we've seen so far. You know, I've always been kind of upset with Tiger Shark constantly getting a tough status card back. Yeah, this is a little bit better than that. So Ronan the Accuser himself is extremely harsh. We have a side scheme here as well, Judge, Jury, Executioner. It comes in with free scheme or free threat per player, and it gives you an acceleration token, meaning that for as long as the side scheme stays in play, an extra threat will be placed on the main scheme during the villain phase. And also, after a friendly character is defeated by an enemy attack, you place 2 threat on the main scheme. And this is friendly character. This is not hero, which means when one of your allies goes down. So you know how every time a character, I don't know, let's say Ronan, is swinging for too much damage and you want to protect your hero, you just use a minion to defend. Minion goes down, but unless the attack's got overkill, the minion goes down, nothing else bad happens, and you've lost your minion, but it's not that bad. Well, here you lose your minion and 2 threat gets placed on the main scheme, bearing in mind that Ronan the Accuser himself can scheme for free, and this brings in an acceleration token as well. That is, again, it is extremely harsh. Side schemes really are supposed to try and distract you while the main scheme builds up threat and you lose. But this will both distract you and accelerate the main scheme and put extra threat on the main scheme. So this basically forces you, when Judge, Jury, Executioner comes into play, this basically forces you to take out this side scheme even faster than you usually would, because you cannot just go, wow, there's not much threat on the main scheme here, I will deal with all of the villains and minions and all of that, I'll get to it later, because it is going to be adding threat while your minions are going down defending against attacks. These 2 cards together are harsh, and while we're talking about them together, they both have... There's no boost icons per se, but when Ronan the Accuser comes out as a boost card, it gets put into play engaged with you, little bit mean, and when Judge, Jury, Executioner comes out as a boost card, it gets put into play. So there's no way around either of these. If they get drawn from the deck normally, they're going into play. If they come out as boost cards, they're going into play. And I hope I've been able to show you quite well enough how ridiculously harsh these cards can be. Now, I talk about these cards being harsh, and I am delighted with this. Because here's the thing. This is a completely optional print and play encounter set that does not naturally fit into any of the existing scenarios, and I say that as a bonus. This is not going to be the recommended encounter set for one particular scenario. It is an extra optional thing, and anyone who looks at this encounter deck and goes, or encounter set, and goes, that's too harsh, that's too mean, or plays with it once and twice and thinks it's too difficult, can just ignore it. But I've seen many players in the Facebook group clamoring for an increase in difficulty, and what they've been asking for is a real increase in difficulty. Not just, ooh, I get extra encounter cards or any of that. They want real, more difficult cards being added into the game. Well, gee whiz, ladies and gentlemen, it certainly looks like FFG have been listening, because what we've got here is a very natural increase in difficulty by adding a really difficult encounter set. Now, there are a few other cards coming here as well. The Accused is an attachment that you attach to your identity, and when an enemy initiates an attack against that identity, they get +1 attack. Now, the good news is, after Ronan the Accuser is defeated, you get rid of the Accused, which is nice, but essentially +1 attack for every enemy going after you while this is attached. And remember, Ronan is not an easy one to take down. Again, we've got a boost skill here. There's no actual boost icons, but when it comes out, it attaches to your identity. And like I've said, you either take down Ronan, or every villain, every minion, they all get extra attack against you. Seems a little bit mean. And we then have 2 copies each of a couple of Treachery cards. Starting off, we've got Bring the Hammer Down. 3 boost icons, and it also has a star boost as well. If this activation defeats a character, deal the first player 1 face down encounter card. So the scheme or attack is increased by 3 when this comes out as a boost card, and if it increases attack enough to KO a character, you then deal the first player 1 face down encounter card, which of course is extra harsh. And again, it says character, not hero, which means if you are defending and this comes out as a boost card, not only is it going to take out the ally, it is also going to give an extra encounter card, which is incredibly mean. This, incidentally, is exactly the kind of card where you want something like Acrobatics. That is the Black Widow card that lets you cancel the boost icons on the card and deal 1 damage to the villain for each boost icon cancelled in this way. That is exactly the kind of thing you're going to want against this, because if you actually have to let them have the boost icons, it's harsh. Oh yeah, but it also does something. Ronan the Accuser activates against the player he is engaged with, but if he's not in play, this card gains Surge, i.e. you just reveal a different card. So, yeah, it gives Ronan extra activations. Now, we've been talking for the last 10 minutes about how good Ronan is, about his high attack and all of that. We've then got extra activations, bearing in mind Ronan is going to be engaged with the weakest player the vast majority of the time. Yeah. Bit harsh, ladies and gentlemen. Bit harsh. And of course, if the side scheme's in play, then that's going to put 2 Fret on, and you can see how this can, it's something like Bring the Hammer Down comes out, Ronan takes out the weakest character, and then extra Fret gets placed, and it all builds up quite quickly. And finally, we've got 2 copies of You Dare Oppose Me! We've got 2 boost icons and a star here, so it's at least mildly better. We'll get to the star in a moment. And when it is revealed, you discard the top 5 cards of the encounter deck. Every time a card belonging to the Kree Fanatic set is discarded this way, deal that card to yourself as a face-down encounter card. Now, when we say the Kree Fanatic set, we mean the numbered 1 to 7 Kree Fanatic cards, the one we're going through in this video. And maybe it's none. This could literally be 0. This card could be revealed, you discard the top 5 cards of the encounter deck, and nothing happens. Although do remember, when the encounter deck runs out, it gets shuffled up, and you put an acceleration token on the main scheme, so there's 1 more threat every time you start the villain phase. So going through the encounter deck fast is not a good thing. So at its very weakest, it's going to make the encounter card run out faster, or the encounter deck, but at its strongest, this could, if things go really badly wrong, this could deal you 5 of these 7 cards straight away, which is mean. And bearing in mind, if You Dare Oppose Me hits the other You Dare Oppose Me, then that will get dealt as a face-down encounter card, and when revealed, will do the whole thing again. Oh yeah, and if this activation is an attack, this attack gains Overkill. That is the star. So if this just comes out as a boost card during an attack, it will add 2 to the attack and Overkill. So Overkill means that if an ally is defending for you, because allies generally have much weaker health than heroes, they will get defeated, assuming they do, and if they get defeated, any excess damage will be dealt to your hero. So if a minion with 2 health remaining takes 7 damage, 2 goes on the minion, and 5 goes on to your hero. Oh great! Another extremely rough card. I love this encounter set. This is exactly the kind of one that I'm playing around with. I had a couple games yesterday, and it's it's just as harsh as you think. Even playing solo, 9 health on Ronan. If you're playing aggression, if you've got the right cards in hand, there are times you can ping the toughness away, deal 9 damage, and Ronan goes away. And then when Ronan goes away, the accused goes away, and all of a sudden it's not so bad. But this will leave you in games where you're desperate to take down Ronan because he's amazing, but you've also got to get rid of Judge, Jury, and Executioner because of the whole placing threat while defeat, and it's going to overwhelm. But like I said a moment ago, it's a completely optional set. It is the kind of difficulty we've been asking for, and if you want to add the challenge, do it. And if you don't, ignore it and just enjoy the wonderful artwork. Either way, I love that FFG have done this, and I really hope we get more of these in the past. Though if anyone from FFG is watching, please make this available officially, even if it's website only, even if I have to order it from the US, even if it's too expensive because short print run and packaging and all of that, and it ends up being way more than a 7-card set should be. I promise you I will buy it, and I know a lot of other people will as well, and anyone that doesn't want to can just print and play it that way. But if there's any way you could make this available officially, I would be so happy, ladies and gentlemen. So if anyone from FFG is watching, you've got the printers, you've got the files, Print out little 7-card packs, put them in little packaging, sell them online only, charge more than you should for a 7-card pack because of the economies of scale and all of that. Or diseconomies of scale, I suppose. I'm fine with it. Let's do this, ladies and gentlemen. Let's do this. But yeah, this is awesome. So either run to a printer and have a go, or literally just proxy it. Find a random minion to put in and go, oh, when that comes out, I'll treat it as Ronan the Accuser. Random side scheme. Oh, when that comes out, I'll treat it like Judge, Jury, Executioner. Honestly, that's what I'm doing because I don't like printing out little bits of paper and putting them in sleeves. So I just treat it like this, and I've got an iPad to the side with the scans. But that's my choice. Anyway, tell me what you think about Ronan the Accuser. Tell me if you've been having a go. Tell me how it's all working out. Go nuts, be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at the Wossy. That's where we talk Marvel Champions and a bunch of other games. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all kinds of fun stuff. But by far the most important thing as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching Wossy Plays.